Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to the Morning Metaphysical Report. Today is January 1st, 2020, and my name is Lysander Xanthus. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the day's astrology, numerology, and some other food for thought for your day ahead. I hope everyone had a lovely New Year's Eve and that you're getting enough rest. It can definitely be tempting to stay up and party on this night of the year.
So I hope you all slept a little bit.
Just a little. Alright, I like to start each video with a little clearing and blessing. Sorry, my desk is a little cloudy. I did leave the decorations up. Yes. Is this India temple?
That's the sandalwood.
Alright. And I'm going to spread a little sandalwood incense around your energy, just clearing you a little more and giving its blessing. It's associated to wisdom, enlightenment, and peace. And carefully, a little around myself. A lot of paper around me today.
Yes, very, very carefully. We left the decorations up from our live stream last night, celebrating New Year's Eve. So we thought we'd spread that warm, loving pink decoration to all of you again today.
Alright. Well, my selenite's not here today, so I will just use my
Oh,
hands.
here, I've got you.
Oh, that's
You've got
wrong.
a crystal pile because we were invaded by cats last night.
Yeah. I'm going to be using this selenite to send you healing, peaceful energy. I bless you, and I bless your day ahead, and I bless your year ahead. I bless you that your path may be clear, that you have the strength and fortitude to face all that is before you, and the courage and strength to keep stepping forward all along the way. I bless you that you find healing, clarity, and peace. I bless your day ahead, that it inspire you, and the path that you'd like to walk in the year ahead becomes clear to you, or at the very least, that you have a sense of peace about enjoying the ride I bless your year ahead. May this be your best year yet. May you discover wonderful things and have wonderful experiences. And most of all, may you surprise yourself in the best way, discovering that there's more to you than perhaps you ever yet realized. I bless you that you be protected in your year ahead, that you can proceed along your destiny path unhindered. It is your right, and no one and no force has the right to intrude upon it. Be blessed. Aw, Joe. If you missed the party, you can still watch it on replay. But now, it is time for the astrology for today.
It's okay, we'll do our best to make today a party too.
All right, so what do we have here today? So the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are all in Capricorn. So here at the beginning of the year, there is a huge emphasis on Capricorn, just as there has been for a while, to kind of organize yourself and organize your life and all the things you've been realizing about yourself into an idea for where you want to go, what you want for yourself, and making that decision for yourself. Not waiting for circumstances to be right, but deciding what it is you want. It is time to be the leader of your own life, to be responsible for yourself, and to exercise self-sufficiency, not waiting for others to help or to change. In this new year, approach this year boldly, and you'll be met with progress. Lots of very good influences with the Sun and Jupiter in this house. And Mercury being here lends that influence to the mind as well, the way that we think and express ourselves and communicate with others. So bringing those qualities together consciously should be easier at this time. Mars is in Scorpio, connecting us deeply to our true feelings. So it may be very hard to ignore what is we really feel, but ideally we ought to use this, all the bother that we feel, to act as motivation for putting ourselves and our lives together and to start taking control. Venus is an Aquarius, so in our relationships and love life, we are maybe feeling a bit more independent. The focus would be more on a greater scope, our sense of greater community, rather than one-on-one relationships, and we may be wanting to explore different ways of being with people, unique and unusual ideas, maybe just something a little different. The Moon and Neptune are in Pisces, and it looks like they are aligned at the moment, or conjunct. So we may be having very emotional, unusual dreams. We can be more open at this time. Sorry, sometimes my mind blanks a little bit short on sleep. So there's a lot of deeper knowing within us, And with Neptune in Pisces, that deeper knowing is rising to consciousness and has been for at least the last few months. I only started doing the report a few months ago, so Neptune has been in Pisces this entire time. So it's not a new thing, it's kind of this ongoing thing with Neptune. The moon being here brings a strong emphasis to this, especially since it is waxing, so it is growing in illumination. So again, what's on the inside of ourselves is coming out. So things deep within us, deep feelings that perhaps have been shuffled away into the subconscious or ignored are coming to the forefront. So just a lot like how Mars is connecting us to how we really feel about things. Pisces is doing this from a different angle, from a more watery and less fiery place. So pay attention to your dreams. They may be giving you important messages about what's going on with you and, again, how you really feel. Planets are really pushing that, making it hard for you to ignore things you've been putting off for months or years.
Time to get it done.
Finally, Uranus is in Taurus in retrograde, so this is a time of reassessing our habits, our comfort zone, to ask ourselves if this is the way we'd like to continue persisting, or if we want to change our habits and create a radical change in ourselves that we would like to have take deeper root in us instead. So that is the astrology for today.
Fantastic.
Of course, today is a one day.
It is. It is the first of the year, which adds extra emphasis
To that oneness.
to that oneness. You're not just setting the tone for your next 9 days, you're setting the tone for the next year. A lot of pressure.
Don't be scared.
Don't be afraid. Embrace the one.
Oh, there's month numbers?
There are. I was going to start pointing out that you should do the months as well. Although, I believe that it's meant as the same way that the year is.
Oh, okay. Well, then we won't do that right now.
Yes.
Okay, so the first of the month. This is a one day. Find a way to feel like a winner. Buy a new outfit, or go to a good restaurant for dinner. Call a friend and go play a sport you really enjoy, such as tennis, bike riding, golf, etc. It is definitely a day to get some physical release. If you're in a relationship that is causing you pain, this is a good day to end it. If you've been thinking about quitting your job, this would be the day to pick up the classifieds. It's all about you getting into the driver's seat of your life. Take charge. You know, if there's something you haven't kicked or gotten rid of yet, be sure to do that today.
This is the time to do it, especially with it being a new year. Don't drag your 2019 into your 2020. Take the time to remove those obstacles now. So, for the beginning of the year, the Kitchen Witch has a magic tip of the day.
Oh, great.
Woo!
You should share that with us.
We're going to talk about manifestation boxes.
Oh, great.
Alexandra and I both have one. So we're going to talk a little bit about manifestation boxes. This is my manifestation box, and I've been waiting for the new year to do it. It's a box I found at a thrift store that made me smile, and I kind of painted the colors so they were a little brighter, and I put love, dream, and believe on it, and then if I open it, inside it says manifest. Lysander, what can you tell us about the purpose of the manifestation box?
Well, it's not unlike what it sounds like. It is a box that you use to manifest your desires into your life. So you should really do it in a way that feels good to you. Pick a box that speaks to you. It depends on what it is you want to manifest. And you fill it with things that you want to create for yourself that symbolize those things. You can keep it really simple and just write all those things on a piece of paper and put it in there, or you can find small objects that represent it. But that means be very mindful of what goes in here, because it all represents energies that you are inviting into your life.
Yep. So I recommend starting off your new year with a manifestation box. I have a whole collection of trinkets and pictures that I'm going to be putting into mine. And the important thing to remember is to take the time to put the intention of manifesting or creating that in your life into every single piece you put into your box. So you definitely want to make sure that if you're putting a picture of a house in there, you're really feeling that intention of creating a home, or, you know, finding the dream home. If you put a car in there, make sure you're really putting the intention of finding the perfect car for you. Whatever you put into it is what you're drawing to yourself. And do it with love and hope and positivity. And that's my tip. It can be any box, any style, as long as it makes you happy.
Thanks.
I thought it would be a good thing to share for the start of the year.
Yeah,
Everyone
it was.
should have a manifestation box.
It's a lot of fun.
So much fun.
Alrighty, well, now it is time for the crystal healing of the day.
Yes, the fates chose a weird one.
I can see this. So today's crystal is pyrite, also known as fool's gold. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about this crystal. If you would like to participate in this energy healing, get into a relaxed position, breathe, and allow yourself to receive the energy. It's just this one today. So pyrite is a very protective stone, shielding the user from negative energy of all kinds. Pyrite blocks energy leaks and mends auric tears. Carry pyrite in your pocket to protect you from both environmental pollution and physical danger. Pyrite also promotes good physical health and emotional well-being. Traditionally, pyrite is known as a stone of luck, helping to attract abundance, wealth, and prosperity to the user via its creative energies of manifestation and its encouragement of following one's dreams. This quality makes pyrite excellent for grid work and rituals. Pyrite not only deflects negative energies, but also helps to release negative and inhibiting patterns of behavior. Pyrite can enhance one's will during challenging times and supports the action necessary for personal growth and success. Meditation with pyrite can encourage greater frequency in moments of inspiration, and its grounding action allows these higher frequencies to be grounded into the physical world. Alright, but you're going to get to experience the energy of this crystal for yourself. So, in a moment, I will begin. is in the earth. The earth expresses its love in so many ways, and each plant and crystal is a different form of that love. So know that as you take in the energy of this crystal, that it is a particular form of love and blessing given to you from the earth and the soul of our world. This crystal wants you to be healed, protected, and to be well. This concludes the crystal healing with pyrite. Something I heard while working with its energy today was, we've got to have faith, like as in the song. I don't know if that's the title. Yeah, that one.
Now everyone knows specifically which one it is.
Thank you.
Hope so.
So I'm going to set that down. Let's take a moment to sit in the energy we have received. Bonjour, Corinne.
It's just so nice to see everybody this morning.
Yeah. So we are about to do our affirmation for the day.
Ooh, I like the illusion.
So I am going to say this affirmation to you the first few times in first person and second person.
You want to say it together?
and then we will say it together. I really want you to focus on hearing the words the first few times rather than being concerned with saying them at first. I love and approve of myself. I am loving and lovable. I love and approve of myself. I am loving and lovable. You love and approve of yourself. You are loving and lovable. You love and approve of yourself. You are loving and lovable. Now we are going to say it together 3 times. I love and approve of myself. I am loving and lovable. I love and approve of myself. I am loving and lovable. I love and approve of myself. I am loving and lovable. Take in those words. This affirmation comes from the book Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. And this one in particular is for aches, like aches in the body and so on. Obviously, you can use the affirmation even if you don't have aches. I just thought it would be of interest to note which condition it is related to. All right. I appreciate the feedback. It always interests me what people experience. All right, so now it is time for the card reading of the day. So I'm going to be doing a reading for you all that will provide insight and guidance for the day ahead. Some of the reading may resonate with you, or all of it may. It'll be a little different for everyone. So I'm going to check the comments.
We're good to go.
Yep, looks like it. All right, so which deck today?
I definitely feel like it should be chocolate.
I know, I've been seeing a lot of her lately.
She's very opinionated.
So today's tarot reading comes from Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot. Let's see what the cards have to say today. Oh, yes, they do have something to say.
I just needed it.
And basically, it's kind of like, apparently y'all haven't heard me yet.
And maybe that's why she keeps speaking up. She feels like there are members of our audience that are still not taking her advice.
Well, yes, especially since it's some cards we have seen before. It is, she feels it's very important, especially right now. Oh my goodness. That was a chunk.
Oh, we got a chunk.
We've got things to say today. Alright, well, let's start there. So we have 7 cards. Ooh,
What a prosperous number. It's a very spiritual number, 7.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Well, Joe, if you feel like it's for you, you better listen up. Alright, so the first two cards are one thought. So, the first card here is the World. This card pertains to a feeling of being stagnant or stuck, and most of all, of the need to shake things up. A change is most needed at this time. There's no advancement in this situation as it is. Nothing will change unless you change it. That's what all the planets in Capricorn have been saying, basically. Nothing's going to change unless you do it yourself. The next card is the Eight of Swords. This card pertains to feeling afraid and disempowered. It's very important to acknowledge how you're feeling, but to realize how, even though you are feeling powerless, that this is not truly the case. To take your power back and not be frightened by mere shadows. Sometimes gathering more information can help reassure ourselves. You interpreted this a certain way the other day, and I really like that, so I'm going to share that as part of the interpretation.
Yeah.
Being held hostage by expectations, your own or other people. So think about what expectations, what you feel you have to do or should do, and think about how this is keeping you stuck, or like feeling like you're really in a rut, or like you have to do this. The truth is that you don't have to do anything. These are just expectations. So even though it feels like one is very stuck, you've really just handed your power away. So it points it out. Because it says you can and ought to take it back. Alright, so the next 5 cards are kind of one thought. There's 3 on top, 2 on the bottom. So I'm trying to determine exactly the nuance it's communicating.
It's like an elaboration on the self and the situation.
So self, situation.
That's how I would interpret that.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 3 are an elaboration on you, yourself.
It's like how you yourself relates to the situation, or you in the situation.
Mm-hmm. Hi, sweetie. Do you want to come up here?
Hashtag more cats?
Maybe. Come here, baby.
With that fussy baby.
No, she's not coming up here. Alright, first card is Strength. This card talks about how good always vanquishes evil. So this is strongly saying that this is what you need to do. You need to be firm and uncompromising. Don't compromise with evil. Don't compromise with stuff that goes against your own integrity. Squash it down. Defeat it. Without mercy. The card following it is the Hermit. This pertains needing to withdraw from the other influences in your life so that you can seek your own counsel and your own wisdom there's too much going on around you for you to hear what's going on inside of yourself in your own voice. So you need to pull away from the other people in your life for a moment so you can get that insight. The third card is the Eight of Cups. This card says that there are a lot of emotions in you that have been suppressed and repressed. So it's pointing that out. I like the way the booklet says it. So I'm going to refer to that. I haven't seen this card in a while, so my memory is a bit foggy. Emotional upset is keeping you from making any meaningful progress. Don't cling to resentments and pain. Set them free. All these emotions and resentments and pain that you're holding onto within yourself are clouding your vision. We talked about how we are fearful of things that may not really be, and it's because of this your emotions are clouding your perception of things. So there's stuff within that must be released and cleared out. So that is an elaboration on the self. Thanks, Judy. I really like these cards too. So the next two cards are an elaboration on your situation. This card is the Queen of Discs. This describes a person. Probably not you, probably the other person at hand. This describes someone who is generous and motherly, a giver of all of life's sweetness. So this for some of you it may be more literal, where it pertains to your mother or a mother figure or other female who has the, I guess you could say, more dominant role in terms of the power dynamic of your relationship. But it may possibly refer to other persons in your life as well. So it is whoever it immediately concerns in your situation. I'm going to read the booklet to see if there's anything else I can add to that. A resource for wealth. So it may be someone with whom you are enmeshed financially, a partner or relative. And that can always make things tricky. The Nine of Swords. This card, unfortunately it is a negative card, but to be forewarned is to be forearmed, as they say. This card talks about one's fears becoming reality. So your fears are founded, but it says that you must either stand and face the crisis bravely or kind of duck low and wait for it to pass. So make a decision of how you'd like to approach it. Just wait for it to pass over and stay where you are, or to face it head on. Alright, so those are the cards that are out currently.
Fantastic.
If anyone would like to go over the reading again, this video will be available for replay. I'm going to see if the cards have anything else to say, but I feel as though that might be it.
You were wrong, apparently.
There's two cards, and this is a completely different thought. Joe. That sounds... It's a very interesting way of putting that. Alright. So the first card is the Nine of Cups. This talks about if you make a wish and believe they will be fulfilled, allow yourself to be blissfully fulfilled and to make a wish. So really connecting with your heart's desires is very important at this time. If you're not connected to that, how can you direct yourself and make effective decisions if you don't really know or are honest with yourself about what it is you want and what that reality would be like, the actual end result of having what you want. The card that follows that is the Moon. The Moon pertains to the depths of your emotions and subconscious self. So this is saying that you need to dig deep within and really not allow yourself to be satisfied by superficial answers, but to really challenge yourself to go within and seek the truth of yourself. One's dreams can be very telling about what's going on within oneself and one's true feelings. Emotionally, we can be a bit like deep, deep lakes. Our emotions and reactions on the day-to-day are like ripples on the water. Hi, sweetie. Gonna go to cat camp. They're like ripples on the surface of the water, but those ripples are caused by things shifting and moving deep, deep within the lake, as it were. So deep, deep within yourself, something is moving and happening that is causing these surface feelings and reactions. So it's saying, go within. I think that concludes our card reading for today. But we do have cat cam. Hashtag more cats.
Hashtag more cats. Hi,
Our
Mommy.
gift to our patrons and followers. This is Arushka Gall. And there she goes.
There we go. Can you see the baby?
Yes.
Oh gosh, we're talking about silly kid. Do I know the people? No people. Oh. You just want to love.
We do.
We just want to love. Oh, sweet baby. I hope I'm doing an okay job holding this stuff.
Yes, we see her face and everything.
You can see her face. That's so hard. She's so black. Yeah. You got all this black fur and you disappear.
No.
Alright, I'm gonna put that back. Yes, more on one. That's what I said.
Well, I'm not sure if she's going to come back this way. So I'm reluctant to change the camera at the moment. I don't know, does she seem pretty settled?
She
over
seems
there?
settled for the moment. But you know how long that lasts usually.
Alright, well. So, that is your guidance for the day. Thank you, everyone. She is a beautiful cat. Now it is time for some soul food and food for thought. It is time for the other reading of the day. Today's reading comes from The Power is Within You by Louise Hay. And we are beginning a new chapter, appropriate, called The Totality of Possibilities.
Whoa, that sounds inspiring for you. Hashtag my cat.
Louise likes to talk about some serious stuff, but it's all in the interest of helping us grow. So I'm going to read a few sections. Limitations learned from the past. There is an expression I like to use a lot: the totality of possibilities. I learned it from one of my early teachers in New York, Eric Pace. It always gave me such a take-off place for letting my mind go beyond what I thought possible, far beyond the limited beliefs I grew up with when I was young. Being a child, I didn't understand that the passing criticisms of grown-ups and friends were just the result of a bad day or a small disappointment and really weren't true. I accepted these thoughts and beliefs about myself willingly, and they became a part of my limitations. I may not have looked awkward or dumb or silly, but I sure felt it. Most of us create the ideas we believe about life by the time we are 5 years old. We add a little bit more when we are teenagers, and maybe a tiny bit more when we're older, but very little. If I were to ask most people why they believe such and such on any subject, and they trace it back, they would discover that they made a certain decision about the subject by the time they were this young age. From a scientific perspective, it is fascinating and somewhat terrifying. But at one point I studied that a lot of experiences that we have in utero or as infants does become embedded in our subconscious. Very deeply, of course, because we tend to not consciously remember these times. And that they can form the basis of very deep psychological patterns. To me, it's fascinating. Acknowledging where this comes from, but to go along. So, we live in the limitations of our 5-year-old consciousness. It was something we accepted from our parents, and we still live under the limitations of our parents' consciousness. Even the most wonderful parents in the world didn't know everything and had their own limitations. We say what they said and do what they did. You can't do that, or that won't work. However, we don't need limitations, as important as they may seem. Some of our beliefs may be positive and nourishing. These thoughts served us well all of our lives, such as, look both ways before you cross the street. Fresh fruits and vegetables are good for your body. Other thoughts may be useful at a young age, but as we grow older, they are no longer appropriate. Don't trust strangers, for instance, may be good advice for a small child. As adults, to perpetuate this belief only creates isolation and loneliness. The good news in all of this is that we can always make adjustments all the time. The moment we say, I can't, or it won't work, or there's not enough money, or what would the neighbors think, we are limited. This last expression is a significant obstacle for us. What will the neighbors, or my friends, or my coworkers, or whoever think? It's a good excuse. Now we don't have to do it because they wouldn't do it and they wouldn't approve. As society changes, what the neighbors think changes also, so to hold on to this assumption doesn't make any sense. If someone says to you, nobody's ever done it this way before, you can say, so what? There are hundreds of ways of doing something, so do the way that's right for you. We tell ourselves other absurd messages such as, I'm not strong enough, or I'm not young enough, or I'm not old enough, I'm not tall enough, or I'm not the right sex. How often have you used this last one? Because I'm a woman, I can't do this, or because I'm a man, I can't do that. To feel inferior because of sexuality is not only a poor excuse, but another way to relinquish your power. Our limitations often stop us from expressing and experiencing the totality of possibilities. I don't have the right education. How many of us have let that one stop us? We have to realize that education is something set up by groups of people who say, you can't do such and such unless you do it our way. We can accept that as a limitation, or we can go beyond it. I accepted it for many, many years because I was a high school dropout. I used to say, oh, I don't have any education. I can't think. I can't get a good job. I can't do anything well. Then one day I realized that the limitation was all in my mind and had nothing to do with reality. When I dropped my own limiting beliefs and I allowed myself to move into the totality of possibilities, I discovered that I could think. I discovered that I was very bright and I could communicate. I discovered all sorts of possibilities which when viewed from the limitations of the past, seemed impossible. Limiting the potential within us. Then, there are some of you who think you know it all. The trouble with knowing it all is that you don't grow, and nothing new can come in. Do you accept that there is a power and intelligence greater than you, or do you think you are it, you and your physical body? If you think that you're it, then you will be running scared because of your limited perspective. If you realize that there is a power in this universe that is greater and wiser, in whatever form you believe that takes, and that you are part of it, then you can move into the space where the totality of possibilities can operate. How often do you allow yourself to dwell in the limitations of your present consciousness? Every time you say, I can't, you are putting a stop sign in front of you. You shut down the door to your own inner wisdom, and you block the flow of energy that is your spiritual knowingness. Are you willing to go beyond what you believe today? You woke up this morning with certain concepts and ideas. You have the ability to move beyond some of them to experience a far greater reality. It is called learning, because you're taking in something new. It may fit in with what is already there, or it may even be better. Have you ever noticed that when you start rearranging your closet, you discard clothes and odds and ends that you no longer need? You pile up the possessions you are giving away on one side and throw away the stuff that is no longer usable. Then you begin to put everything back and in a totally different order. It's easier to find what you're looking for, and at the same time, you made room for new clothes. If you bought a new outfit and put it in the old closet, you may have had to jam it between other paraphernalia. If you clean out your closet and rearrange it, then when you bring in the new outfit, it has room for itself. We need to do the same routine with our minds. We need to clean out the contents that no longer work, so we have room for the new possibilities. Where spirit is, all things are possible, and spirit is in all of us. If we continue with our preconceived ideas, then we are blocked. When someone is ill, you say, oh, poor person, how they must be suffering. Or do you look at the person and see the absolute truth of being and affirm the health of the divine power that is within? Do you see the totality of possibilities and know that miracles can happen? It is a very interesting perspective to step into, and one that can be very challenging to adopt, but it can change a lot. A man I once met told me very emphatically that it was absolutely impossible for a grown person to change. He was living in the desert and had all sorts of illnesses, and he wanted to sell his property. He didn't want to change his thinking, so he's very rigid when it came to negotiate with a buyer. It had to be done his way. It was apparent that he would have a very burdensome time trying to sell that property because his belief was that he could never change. All he had to do was open his consciousness to a new way of thinking. Well, I did read a lot.
I feel like that was a good chunk.
Yeah. So we will continue reading this tomorrow. If you enjoyed this reading, you can catch it again at tomorrow's Morning Metaphysical Report, or of course you can obtain the book for oneself. Just catching up on the comments. I'm sorry to hear about that, Joe.
It's all part of learning and growing.
Indeed. And I know this is a very challenging thought, but it is very natural to feel guilt. But guilt can't change what has happened, and you did the best you could with what you had and the understanding that you had at the time. All that can be done is to be there for them with all that you have available now and the understanding that you have now. And because now that they too are getting older, unfortunately, They are their own independent people, so it's entirely up to their free will and choice of how they will respond to their experiences and to choose their own way, which you have no power over and isn't your responsibility once they make their own choices for themselves. As difficult as that is. Alrighty, so that right, that concludes today's reading. There we go. We are going to be drawing the Morning Metaphysical Report to a close soon. If you enjoyed the Morning Metaphysical Report, please like, follow, or subscribe to my page and channel so you can continue watching it each morning. If you like and follow my Facebook page, the link is on screen or in the description of the video. Then you will not only see the morning report, but all of my other content. I also encourage you to visit my Patreon at patreon.com/freedomdreamcoaching for more information about what it is that we do, the goals we're working towards, and how you can become part of it and support us. Also, we have a poll for the morning report. That's going to go to Cat Can. We would really like your feedback. The poll is going to ask you what segments you would like to see added to the morning report or segments you would like to see taken away. You do have to have a Patreon account to take the poll, but it doesn't cost anything. It's free. It's just like any other online account in that way. That's some cattail right here.
Yes, give us your thoughts. Oh my gosh, that was a heck of a jump.
That was a heck of a jump.
That was a heck of a jump.
I'm going to leave this here because I don't know if
She'll be back.
she'll be back. We do have plans to expand and grow the morning report. Where in the future, as our support and pledges on Patreon grow, we will be adding the Kitchen Witch segment, giving you cooking tips and magic tips and cooking with magic. We need more pledges because we moved without any cooking equipment, so she literally cannot do her videos
Can't do anything.
until we can replace more of the equipment. The other segment is by our friend Alexander, who will be creating a fitness segment, combining spirituality and the physical wellness aspect for you all. So you have that to look forward to, and of course the future has even more to bring with it.
Who knows what the future will bring?
Indeed.
Evolve and grow. Next thing on the list, studio lights, so that the lighting isn't so terrible for the morning report.
Yeah, that on Patreon it discusses our goals, and you know that's where your support goes, to the goals that we have listed. Our lowest membership level is $1 a month, and it goes up from there, and you do receive perks and rewards in return for your support. So I hope you'll check it out.
Like being part of our awesome community.
Yes. There's a private Facebook group only for patrons, members of our Patreon. And there's a lot of things happening there, and that will be happening there this month. A lot of private tutelage and learning. Anything else?
I don't think so. There's not a whole lot. Have a fantastic New Year's Day, everybody. Woo!
Yes. If you visit my Facebook page, I do offer private services, but most notably, I have a New Year's reading. So if that interests you, give me a message.
And if any of you would be interested in learning more about your numerology and what this next year is going to bring, contact the Kitchen Witch. I'm doing a numerology reading. I will also be posting my Pinterest board on my page later today, called 2020 Manifestation Box. So I'm sharing with all of you what I'm putting into my box this year.
Excellent. Well, thank you, love. And thank you to all of you for joining me today and watching, and for all of your support, new and continued. I hope that you will join me on my page and on Patreon, and that we'll keep seeing your lovely faces around. Have a blessed day and a blessed year. Happy New Year's.